Hello and welcome to the Ilene Silverman Show. I'm your host Ilene, and on this week's program, our guests discuss the Gainesville Women's Club upcoming performance to raise funds for the Gainesville Arts and Parks Foundation and to renovate the Northeast 31st Street Avenue Neighborhood Park. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us for our program. On March 4th and 5th, you have the opportunity to attend the Gainesville Women's Club performance of the Hereos of Bent Fork Bluff. Enjoy dinner and matinee and contribute to the renovation of one of our community's neglected parks. To tell us more, I'm pleased to introduce my guest, Gigi Simmons, Interim Development and Partnership Coordinator for the City of Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs, and Margaret Gillan, longtime member of the Gainesville Women's Club and co-chair of the Signature Project. And it's wonderful to have you here, Gigi.
Thank you.
You're doing so much with the City of Gainesville and all that you're accomplishing, and I'm so pleased that you're a part of this show.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. And Margaret, what can I say? Past president of Gainesville Women's Club, very involved in the community and in what you're accomplishing with all the membership. And I'm looking forward to the fourth performance, another radio performance for Gainesville Women's Club. It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to that.
Well, we couldn't do it without you.
Well, that's very kind of you. Thank you.
You've been a big support for our radio shows, and you're a wonderful Women's Club member.
Well, thank you. I'm appreciative. Well, my mother was a longtime member, so I appreciate those kind words, and I look forward to being in the audience, although I've been in the cast before, but I know that this is going to be a great performance. But you started the Signature Project with one idea as a fundraiser, and you've sort of changed, your direction. So kind of update us a little on that.
Well, the year before I was president in about 2011, the club did a survey on what they actually would like to do as a service project. And the service project that was picked out was to help the kids in Alachua County. And we originally decided to work with the public schools. And we have built playgrounds at Idlewild. We have bought orchestra instruments at Duval.
Oh, yeah.
We put a water fountain in at Terwilliger. We have attended the prom at Sidney Lanier. And we have just done a lot of things because we think it's extremely important to help our children. And this year we decided to seek a public facility to maximize our exposure for the kids.
Right. No, I understand, and I think you're you've done this right at the time that there is so much interest in our recreational facilities and upgrading them. And so is that how enter Gigi Simmons in the City of Gainesville Parks, Recreation and Cultural Affairs?
Actually, one of our good members, Angie Terrell,
Love her too. Yeah.
she's very, she's into everything also.
Yes, yeah.
We asked her if she could help us find a project or if she knew anybody at the city, because that's what we wanted to do. And she knew Gigi, so she put us in contact with Gigi.
Okay.
And I'm so glad she did. It has been such a wonderful opportunity to work with the Gainesville Women's Club. They are such an enthusiastic group, and they are so willing to come into the community and help a park that has been so neglected for so long.
Yes.
So on behalf of the Parks and Recreation and Cultural Affairs, we are thrilled and excited to have partnered with the Gainesville Women's Club.
We're
Yes,
thrilled
thank you.
to be your partner too.
No, I think it's and this is what, a 2-year project.
Yes,
Yes.
So
it's
we're
a
just
2-year.
at the beginning of this
This is our
partnership.
first
of
year.
this- Yes, it's a good relationship. And how did you choose? Tell me, what park is your goal, and why? Why this park in the
Well,
Northeast?
we met with Gigi and Dwight Jackson, and they were telling us about some of the parks. And one of them they mentioned was the Northeast 31st Avenue Park. It doesn't even have a name.
No, we're looking at some of it here, but you're right. It doesn't have a name, and my husband Harvey and I drove past it recently, and these pictures make it look a lot better than it really looks
Right.
like when you
Yeah.
drive by.
Sadly, it's been neglected for a long time. Northeast 31st Avenue Park, the name says it all.
Mhm.
There's no identity. This park is placed in a community that's rich with so many children and culture and history, and it's very
Right. It's in
Yeah.
an area that, you're right, is rich with history, but is often challenged economically. A lot of the people
Right.
working there, living in that area, trying to work in that area, face a lot of obstacles in their lives.
Right, Eileen. And we're wanting to go out into this community and help the residents of this community bring back a rejuvenation spirit in this particular neighborhood.
Right.
Like we mentioned earlier, the park has been neglected.
It did in its heyday.
At one time
Right.
it was a great park.
thriving, and
Right.
it was
a
central to that neighborhood.
Yes.
And we are going to take a quick break because we have much more to talk about. Stay with us. We'll be right back. We're back talking with Gigi Simmons and Margaret Gillan. And Gigi, let's go back and talk a little more about the park. When was it first developed? What was it like in its initial, phases?
Well, early on, the park is probably developed mid 60s, late 60s.
Okay.
It has tennis courts, basketball courts. It's sitting, abutting a nature area.
Right.
We have wonderful nature trails. So that park has been in that community for over 40 years.
Wow. And give us the location. Tell us more about the community.
Sure. The park is in close proximity to Rollins Elementary School.
Okay.
MK Rollins Elementary School. It's on Northeast 15th Street and 31st Avenue. It sits approximately 2 to 3 miles behind a low-income area, Forest Green and
All right.
Village Green Apartments. I'm
Okay.
sorry. Yes.
All right.
So it's in a heavily trafficked neighborhood.
Right. Which would have a lot of
elementary
kids.
schools. Yes.
Yes, and going to a school that has a large number of reduced lunch students,
Right.
perhaps in a neighborhood where there's not a lot of transportation in some of the homes, where it's hard for these kids to get to after-school programs,
Right.
if any after-school
Right.
programs.
There is an active bus line en route in the area.
Okay, good to know.
Yes, and it is majority homeowners with very low to moderate income
Right.
residents live in this area. So this park is very important to the community,
Right.
to the residents in this area.
Or to have a park
Right,
there.
right. A functioning park.
A functioning
Yes.
park. And Margaret, did the Women's Club look at other parks or?
We drove around all the parks in Northwest Gainesville. And one thing that struck me about the parks, they were community parks. The children were there on their bicycles. They were having a wonderful time. There were parents there with their babies. The dogs were there. It was just
It was doing what a park's supposed to do. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it was just it was so different to see what facilities they have over
Right.
here than what they have over there.
Not any of those at the Northeast 31st Street Park, because there were no park benches.
Right.
There were no way, if you were a mom with a
Right.
baby, you could sit down, have a conversation. It was isolated looking and
Yes.
barren and foreboding,
Well,
not
right,
inviting.
and no shade structure.
No.
And
no.
the tennis courts need to be replaced.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think you could play tennis
Yeah.
on them.
And how does all this fit into the 2020 master plan? Kind of give us that focus.
Sure. The Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs identified this park for redevelopment during our master planning process. And now that wild spaces and public places funding exists,
Right.
thank you, voters. The
Well
park
said.
Thank you, voters, again. The park will get a much needed facelift with the help of the Gainesville Women's Club. So this park has been identified in the past within the Parks Department as one that is very in need of so much help.
Right.
Because of funding at that time was lack. We were not able to actively, aggressively go out and redevelop this particular park.
But this opportunity given through the Gainesville Women's Club kind of move it all up a notch.
Exactly, Eileen. That's
It'll get done
That's
now.
exactly what it will do. It actually moved up on our list,
Right.
because of the help of the Gainesville Women's Club and our taxpayers.
Oh,
Thank
well, and it's like you can see a direct result, or you will
Exactly.
see a result. Now, we almost just a few more moments, but talk about the community gardens that were once there.
Oh yes. This particular park had a very active community garden. You had the neighbors could come and get a plot, fresh vegetables. They would come out, get whatever they would need,
Right.
and tend to it. The water was free. We had access to water. We had folks that would just come out and work hard and diligently
Right.
in these gardens to help provide for the children and the residents of this
Right,
community.
fresh vegetables.
lettuce, tomatoes,
And which they so
greens.
need, because there
Right.
are not a lot of opportunities in
Right.
this neighborhood area to go run out to a
Right.
store to get fresh
Right.
produce.
Right.
It's just lacking.
Right. And we're desperately trying to get that program back in place
Right.
to help the residents of this community.
Yes, so this
Yeah.
is another, and that's something being seen all around our community,
Right.
so it is also essential. So all together, making a great difference.
Yes.
Yes, I think so.
Yes.
And we're going to take another quick break. Stay with us, we'll be right back. We're talking about the Heroes of Bent Fork Bluff, and I'm pleased to introduce Betty Attie, Director of the Gainesville Women's Club Old Time Radio Show. And Margaret, thanks for staying with us. And Betty, congrats to you, and thanks for directing the Heroes of Bent Fork Bluff. The next radio theatrical performance coming up soon at the Gainesville Women's Club.
I probably would call it more of a collaboration. I direct the collaborators.
I understand.
It's a wonderful cast. They all are involved and are very spontaneous with adding lines and tweaking the meaning of certain lines.
Oh, I can hear it, yeah.
So I direct the collaboration rather than actually direct the program.
Okay, well that means you even have more to take care of, quite frankly.
It's a handful.
It's a handful, I know. And tell us again, Margaret, when is it going to be? When are your performances?
It's going to be March 4th and 5th. We're having a dinner performance March 4th
Okay,
with
Saturday
a silent
night.
auction, and we're having a luncheon performance on the 5th on Sunday
Okay, for the matinee.
for the matinee.
All right. And now this performance, so tell us again, it's a radio, it's as if it was on radio.
It is written, it's an original script in order to save us from paying fees and royalties. Norman Gillan, a good friend of the Women's Club, writes radio script for us every year. He's with the Wisconsin Public Radio. He's a producer with them.
Excellent.
So he writes the script, and that way we can give all of the proceeds to the wonderful charities that we work for.
Very generous.
Now, the other people, cast members,
Well
me
known.
laughing.
Many
say
that have
first
performed
of all.
before, well known to this
Yes.
community.
We have Storm Roberts, who is a well-known radio performer
Indeed.
with WKTK.
TK, yes, his morning show is
Um,
well known. Yes.
Bill Savis is probably synonymous with old-time radio here in
Yes, he
Gainesville.
is.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
He worked 25 years for WUFT, and I think his name is most recognized with Theater of the Mind.
Oh, yes, that's
Right.
what I remember.
So Bill is very good at telling us, now you wouldn't do that on radio.
Okay, good. So, we got somebody right there. in
And
the
then we
trenches.
we have DJ Hellrung,
Such a talent and a delight.
an amazing person. She just has carved some time out to help us out with her talent, because she's so busy with so many things.
I know, March of Dimes and Girl Scouts.
March of Dimes, Guardian Ad Litem,
Right.
amazing person.
I agree.
We have two women's club members
Right.
who have been with us now for 4 years. Karen Jeter, who started drama programs in high schools in Tampa and in Gainesville.
Oh, wow. I know Karen, yes.
Do you know Karen?
Yes, very.
And then Trudy Krushek, who was a
course.
drama major and an education major also.
Oh, see, good talent. And wait, you have former city commissioner Randy Wells.
He's
That's right.
new this year.
Yeah, he
he's a
joined in.
newcomer, and we recognized his talents in Oklahoma.
Right.
He's wonderful in Oklahoma.
And
So-
he plays 2 roles, and he's very good. We have a second newcomer that Gigi Simmons has sent to us. His name is Ferris Alexander, and he has not acted since high school.
Oh, good.
And
this is his
It's
opening.
been 25 years, and he's acting up a storm for us already.
Well, see, just knowing this cast of characters is enough to make you want to come. Because
Yes.
it's seeing Gainesville up
Oh,
there, you know.
I can't leave out the school board members.
Oh, no, no.
No, we have 2 school board members.
That's right.
That's right.
Leonetta
Yes.
and Rob Hyatt.
Of course.
And
He's
both
been
of
in
them have
everyone,
been
and so is-
educators.
And
Yeah.
Leonetta's been everywhere.
She's been in
Yes,
every performance.
uh-huh.
She and I shared a role at one point.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
we did a Saturday Sunday split. Yes, and okay. Speaking about Saturday and Sunday, who's the caterer for the event?
Chef Brothers.
Oh, there-
This will be the 3rd year that they've done them, and we
Okay.
expect. It's a Western, but I don't think we're going to have barbecue. But
Okay. And we do have some musical entertainment.
absolutely, Scott Wilson and the UF Jazz Combo are going to play Western jazz for us,
Okay,
which
good.
should be interesting. And,
Yes.
and we love them. Everybody really enjoys having them play for
Every
us.
year they're fantastic.
Yes, they are.
And then you've got on the evening, you have the large silent auction. So that's another component and another part of the fundraiser.
And prior to the dinner, there will be dancing because Scott will play. And
And you
you
get
should
that.
remember that because the year before last, you and your husband let us off
That's right.
with the
in
dancing. That's right.
Oh, I thoroughly enjoyed
Well,
it.
I hope you do line dancing or square dancing.
I can fake it.
Oh, okay. We'll get you to fake it then.
Okay, good. Okay, sign me up. And I definitely look forward to it. And I thank you, Betty, for being part of this wonderful performance.
It's fun.
Oh, well, we look forward to it, and we do thank you for all your talent. And stay with us. We'll be right back. We're back talking with Gigi Simmons, City of Gainesville Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs. And Gigi, I'm excited about all that's happening with this park. And tell me about the planning process, the procedure that
Okay.
goes forward to make this happen.
First, a neighborhood planning process will occur with the neighborhood. We do surveys, we have neighborhood meetings, and they tell us what the neighbors want for their park. And this will occur early summer.
Okay.
We're going to do a conceptual park design and let the neighbors see it and let the residents become more engaged. And once that happens, sometimes in late summer or early fall, we'll begin the process. And after that, we'll move forward with construction.
Okay.
So this is a 12-month process. It's not going to happen overnight.
No,
but
it's going
it's
forward.
going to move forward.
And it's nice, so the whole neighborhood has ownership on what's going to
Yes.
happen. They get a say.
right.
So it
right.
truly is their park.
It's their park.
Right. And that and then explain how all of this fits in with the newly established Gainesville Arts and Parks Foundation.
Sure. Well, the Gainesville Arts and Park Foundation, which is better known as GAP,
Okay.
was established in June of 2015. It's a fairly new 501c3. It was established. It's established to help support the initiatives of the Gainesville Parks and Recreation and Cultural Affairs, to help with the more aspect of fundraising and advocacy for parks.
Okay.
And recreational facilities. And our whole purpose is to support projects that were identified in the PRCA master plan. So that is the purpose for
Okay, so it
Gainesville
goes
Arts and
back
Parks
to that
Foundation.
master plan
Yes,
and
yes.
moving it forward.
right, helping fill in the funding gaps to help with projects such as these.
So then GAP is part of what the Gainesville Women's Club is doing. So will their fundraising, does it channel through that in a sense?
Well,
Or-
yes, we partner. The Gainesville Women Club has also partnered with the GAP Foundation.
Okay.
In addition to Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs. And because we are a 501c3, a nonprofit organization, we can assist the Gainesville Women Club in fundraising.
Okay, so it's all coming together.
Yes.
So this is all happening at the right time because that would be more of what GAP is all about, seeking others to partner
Exactly.
Right.
And we also host other fundraising initiatives. March 10th, we're going to have a charity golf scramble
Oh,
at
good.
Ironwood Golf Course, and the
Fitting.
proceeds from this event will go towards youth summer camp scholarships for the kids in the city of Gainesville.
with. Oh, outstanding.
Yes.
This is so important
Yes.
because that's another difficulty where kids just
Right.
in the summer need the opportunity to
Exactly.
get out and play. I mean, there's so many good things about a park.
You can't
Being
go
in-
wrong with a park.
being in nature.
Right.
The idea of the gardens, being,
Right.
surrounding yourself with your neighbors and the good feelings and the air and the sunshine and the learning possibilities. It's all good things. And I congratulate you
Thank
for,
you so
for
much.
such,
Thank
wonderful knowledge. And I certainly congratulate the Gainesville Women's Club
Thank you.
for all that they have continued to do for this community in many ways through their performances. The Heroes,
Yes.
the Heroes of Bent Fork Bluff coming up soon. You can buy your tickets. Go to their
That's
website,
right.
buy your tickets for Saturday night or Sunday, and I know I will see you one of those nights at the performance.
I look forward to seeing you.
Oh, me
Thank
too.
you. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm so glad you tuned in, and I hope you'll join us next week. Take care.